people, what is going on? So today I'm going to be doing tribulation mode. I'm here in Radasum in Guild Wars 2, and this event goes on, I believe, until April 25th, and it started on the 1st or the 5th of April, so it's only here for a few weeks. The month, the month of April pretty much, and then it goes away. So it's somewhere around here. It's in one of these corners. I always get the corners a little bit confused. So Radasum is pretty much the top deck. It's pretty much shaped. It is shaped like a Merkava. I mean, it's a cube. You got the 6 points, so a hexagon, and then your pyramid, in the center of the council level. So on the top part, it's just this pyramid, and in the corners, you got different gates to get to other parts of the world. Now, armor repair is up top across over there, and I am needing to get some armor repair, so I'll go ahead and do that. There's a little red thing. So I am working on accomplishing one of the Super Adventure Box Tribulation Mode achievements, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it this year, but it's one of those things that you work on, and after a while it becomes completed. So I mean, there's one, and this is kind of my first year really going in here solo and doing this, so I've already gone through a couple times. I'm doing it again tonight for the reset, because you get rewarded with the crimson tokens for every reset. So there's 4 different resets, or 3 different resets for this event, and you get rewarded 3 times plus a couple other times with the Crimson Assassin tokens, and with those you can purchase the Crimson Assassin weapons. Those cost the Crimson Assassin tokens, and then when you purchase the skin with the tokens here, it will open up the Vanquisher. So if you purchase any of the Kaiser Snake weapon skins from the Black Lion trade market, then you will get the access to the Crimson Vanquisher collection. However, if you're looking to get the there's a backpack skin that's red. If you're looking to get the backpack skin, it might be in here somewhere. Let me see. It's in one of these vendors, but it costs like something like 128. Yeah, right here, 128 baubles. So I got 22 right now, and I'm saving that for the shield or something else. I think I was going for the shield, but I might be going for the shotgun. So this black shotgun looks pretty cool. So to get the shotgun, I mean, I'd have to either do the Kaiser Snake weapon, which you can purchase that, and then I can use the baubles that I have to get the black version. So if I was to look up Kaiser, oh, I'm looking in the wrong place. Kaiser Snake and rifle skin, so that's 180 gold, 129 straight out, and this one is orange. And then for the crimson one, So there's two ways to open up the Vanquisher weapons, basically. To open up these, you either get the Kaiser Snake version or the Crimson Assassin version. To get the backpack, you have to get 128 Bobble Bobbles, or you open up every single one of these Crimson Assassin tokens. So based on the math, it says it'll take you 4 years to do this whole process. Or you can just buy out the backpack with 128 Bobble Bobbles. I don't know whichever way you would choose to do it. I personally like these skins a little bit better, you know, and I don't know how easy it is to get the Kaiser Snake versions. So it's really just, you kind of have to play it by however many you get. You open them as you go, and eventually the Bobble Bobbles, and you'll be able to tell. I don't know yet which direction I'll go. If I want to buy for 128 Bobble Bobbles the backpack one day, or if I plan to get the whole collection to get the backpack. So I think I'll know about once I'm halfway through this collection. So tonight what I'm doing is basically getting a few more coins by completing the Tribulation World 1. I've been doing simply World 1 this season for Adventure Bucks, simply because I'm not really proficient at this, the Tribulation mode. So this is my first year soloing, so I figure I'll get really practiced on World 1 by getting this collection out of the way, where I'm making the Frog King weapons. So not the Storm Wizard weapons. So when you do World 2, you can make the Storm Wizard weapons by combining World 1, 2, and 3 parts, plus a weapon design from Dr. Moto vendor. So with those 4 in the Mystic Forge, it'll combine and basically make one of the weapons. So if you complete World 1 on Tribulation mode, you'll collect the green coin, the green potion, and the green symbol, and plus the weapon design, and that makes your green weapon for the collections as part of the King Toad. And then the Storm Wizard is for World 2 for Tribulation mode. And that's the only way to collect the yellow tokens and the 3 yellow pieces, World 1, 2, and 3, for World 2, or excuse me, Zone 1, 2, and 3 for World 2. And once you get all those collections, you get one of the Kaiser Snake's weapons. However, their special Kaiser Snake weapons are, I think they can drop too, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But it's basically one of the Kaiser Snake weapons, and it has inside the skin, it has a infusion that you're looking for the event. Otherwise, I don't think, yeah, you have to do the collection. So you have to get all 16 weapons for each one to get the Kaiser Snake achievement box at the very end of collecting all 16 weapons for either Tribulation World 1 or Tribulation World 2. So I'm working on World 1, and I've been doing World 1 over and over to collect the 3 pieces, and then I take those 3 pieces and I'm looking to combine them in the Mystic Forge and make the weapons that are for that collection. So I think I got like 11 more to go or something like that out of 16. So doing this multiple times has been pretty much the goal, so it's been getting a little bit easier every time, simply because of practice and knowing what I'm doing by like knowing where I'm going and where the clouds are, because I am using a little bit of help with taco markers that kind of gives me a little bit of a map. But you know, doing this multiple times, eventually you'll memorize it pretty well. But there's certain things that it's just really hard to remember on top of everything else that you're looking to do. Um, so I'm gonna focus in here, and I'm also working on some more music here. I've been really doing my best to get my um, my studio and setup here going. You know, I've been going at things very much on a personalized level. Like all my creative endeavors and education has been self-driven, and in that, you know, I've been kind of going backwards because of my early start in the industry, and learning different dynamics of the venue operations and business operations that go on, and knowing things have been changing because of technology and the advances. You know, I've been wanting to meet these challenges of change with computers in the most like simplified, advanced way possible. And by advanced, I mean, you know, these games can be very advanced and technical, and they can be a lot of fun because of that, and you can link up with other people who are on that level with you, but you'd be talking foreign language to someone who may be a little bit, um, you know, doesn't play video games, or doesn't really, didn't grow up, you know, in the gaming realm, maybe of the older generation, and had a different type of circle of viewpoints going on during, you know, their upbringing to kind of shape their not just experience, but the way they present themselves as well. You know, I'm still going through radical changes of how I'm presenting myself and looking to present myself in the long view. It can be just a challenge because, you know, there's no real road here. We're in cloud space, and paving the way is really more or less about patterns and habits, that not just we participate in, but what we subscribe to or pay attention to. And it's all interconnected in a really dynamic way. So I'm really all about bringing people together in the most unintrusive way possible, while providing a little bit more freedom than what the mainstream social media sites provide, and give a little bit of a pocket, you know, breathable space where communications, networking, sharing memes, you know, just being as real as possible with each other, while we're actually genuinely communicating ways to better not only our own lives while having fun, but to help grow as a team in that way, without encumbering one another by stepping on toes, or you know, being obtrusive. You know, having a little bit of a respect for me as a leader representing this space for y'all, and knowing that, you know, the end goal for anyone to participate with me would be to represent yourself as a leader, and to help others. Give me 1 second. I hear something in the other room. I want to check real quick, and then I'll get to this. having a little bit of a rough start here. There we go. Keep doing that. I don't know why I keep doing that right now. See if I can get around without falling into this lava. Jump it right there. Interesting. There's no markers on Taco for that point. I was using Blish HUD, and I still have it, but for some reason the markers stopped working. I have to re-upload and reorganize my packages wherever they are, where it works properly. So I've had issues in the past with getting Arc DPS to work, and I've had to delete it. And the only way I've been able to get Arc DPS to work somewhat effectively is by using this all-in-one uploader program. So it has multiple different programs that work for Guild Wars 2, and you just click that updater and it updates those programs all in one. And that way, whenever there's a new update, your system won't crash, and you're not constantly having to go through and do updates for Arc DPS in your system to keep it going. So I think that's what one of the issues that I had in the past is I downloaded it and then it updated, or there was new information for it, and I never got the new information for it, and that basically crashed my system, or like prevented me from logging into the game. It was just like, it was kind of weird. So like, I mean, it is a third-party software. It's not necessarily one of the it's not developed by the game, you know, NCSoft or anything like that. Like the game developers who built the game. So it's third party, and usually they are not really into any type of third party, but this is one of those third party things that's like, it's a huge help, and it makes the game, certain aspects of the game possible for, you know, people like me that I just wouldn't be able to do it, like with my day-to-day lifestyle and the things that I'm already involved in and working on. Figuring out the tribulation mode and then remembering it is a feat. I mean, whoever made this knew that and had to. I'm just really glad it exists. Okay, you have to jump over that. You don't have to jump over it. So it's like it's kind of one of those trade-offs where it's like Blish HUD. I don't know if that's something that they're working on as a way to integrate, but it's kind of like or whoever developed it used the same kind of interface that you're working with anyways for Guild Wars, so it integrates really nicely. And Blish HUD has a lot of other really cool perks that you get with the software and using that, and you can upload your you are able to upload your taco markers into there and just use that, but I am using taco right now directly. So I think I forgot to get a cloud. I forgot to get the yeah, great. I forgot to get a I was supposed to get like one of the balloons somewhere, but I don't remember where. I'm forgetting it somewhere. Did I jump over it? I did jump over it. Sometimes doing this too much makes you think a little bit too hard about it. I was like, where's the balloon at? I'm like, I don't know where it's at. It's right here. Where's it at? Oh, the snake got me. Snake got me in the back. Okay. Checkpoint. And I might be able to pick up this key. Yeah. See, I didn't know that the first time, so I was really freaked out about traversing with the key in certain spots. And so once you start to get a feel for where things are and how it works, it's not so slow going. And again, having the places to jump is a huge help. I'll go ahead and just do that to get the key there, because I can't. I mean, I can switch. I should have switched weapons. That's the way to drop the key quickly. I wasn't thinking quick. I'm just talking to y'all. So when it comes to World 2, like, I've gone through it once and completed, you know, 1, 2, and 3. But my, I had a lot of help with that, with the guild that I was in, at the time being, and I'm really appreciative to that. And it was a lot of fun. Whoops. And so that's the idea, is like, there's certain levels of being able to play your characters and whatnot, to get different types of experiences, and it's really, it really gets back to, like, you know, what you're willing to do and what you're capable of doing. And sometimes it just takes practice, and so it's nice being able to practice on your own too. And so you can kind of do that with this mode, tribulation mode. Whoops. Oh, whew, I thought I ate it. And I highly suggest using Taco if you're gonna do it. That's basically what I'm saying. So, like, Taco, there's a lot of really nice perks about Taco. I personally have used it for map complete, but I don't always like using it for map complete. It's not always as fun for me. Involving Tyria map complete, I kind of like being able to just hover over where they possibly are and explore that way, rather than following a path and doing the hearts. And it can be faster, especially if you have mounts, but it's really preference. I really just kind of work with things out, you know, based on how I what works best. Like I was saying, the Blish, I'm gonna reinstall it, but the Blish is pretty much, you know, has a lot of other perks, like the Commander's Journal, Commander's Squire, and you can just kind of take notes, and you can do a lot of other stuff in organizing yourself within the game. So it's like, after a while you start to realize, I mean, this game is pretty intensive. It's like, I mean, there's levels of orchestrating, you know, raid events and signing up to, like, you know, agree to show up to do certain things with people, and then being able to meet the requirements to do those things. Oh, I was hitting forward. I double tapped like multiple times. So it's like, it gets to a point where it's just like, you know, it's like joining a swim team or joining a sports team, and you kind of participate with different events, and it's as intensive and you know, in depth as you, the player, make it. And for me, like, I've kind of, because of the whole idea with the networking and community building, and being a guild leader, you know, I've kind of played more of a background role to the whole thing. You know, I've just been doing a lot of solo stuff, and instead of doing some of these seasonal events, I'd spend a lot of time building legendaries, or doing map completes, and then eventually got into PvP and raiding, and I still haven't really gotten fully into world versus world as I would like, and I'm just getting into you know, Super Adventure Box. There's stuff in Halloween stuff I haven't done yet. Like, I've never completed the Mad Tower climb. I've tried it multiple times, but I've never really completed it, so I haven't memorized the pathway, you know, and the flow of it yet. Um, and so yeah, there's just a lot of really cool stuff in the game, and it's a matter of just having to explore and really like literally just exploring and testing yourself and sleeping on it and failing a lot and failing a lot and failing a lot and just keep building and keep building. And so what I love about it is it reflects life too, and you know, your character building in real life as well. And sometimes we can isolate ourselves because of these games. And the beauty of Guild Wars 2 is it is a MMORPG. You know, it is a game that has other people out here representing and having a good time. You know, I rolled. So so you know, you're not just playing with computers. You actually have this sense of being in this open world with others. So my goal has been to bring that sense of experience and fun with a you know, a light of networking and entrepreneurship in tune with um, social media and advertisement space that's already available, making use of it in a creative uh, squad kind of effort is already what is set up. Everything's like organized, ready to go. It just, you know, if you would like to participate in this way with me, I'm here to do that, you know. So keep eating it. Do this again. don't. You got me. Normally that's not too tough of a spot. You can kind of just get it with a little bit of speed. I don't need that. There you go. You're gonna get it to jump. Making the way to the end of the first zone, to the cage here. The tribulation zone. There's spikes here, right there on the right. Oh no, I gotta hold that. Okay, well. Easier just to start over some spots. Whoa! Whoa! That's my generation. Whoa! Most wouldn't even be able to reference it. And that's what it was all about back in the day, is being able to reference different TV shows and catchphrases. Now everything's just so much information. The youth are on a completely different level than what we were on in the 90s and 80s and 90s. Just saying. Trying to figure out best ways of integrations. See, told you there's those spikes, because I had to show you. That's pretty much how I've been looking at it, is like doing my best to try to fit in with the older and younger generations with what it is, and not just completely be pushed and pulled by business, modalities of going about things. I spend a lot of my days in the virtual realm, so I see virtual realms as being a creative space for running business all the same, and you can partition things out accordingly, I mean, if you're a big conglomerate like some of these companies that have been existing, it's already there. It's just a matter of seeing it for what it is. Even your Sony has your PlayStation network or whatever, and that's like all the gaming for their console. PlayStation, Sony doesn't really do too much in the computer market, but they do have stuff involved in building computers. I mean, they do have computers. It's just not one of their primary focuses. And a lot of the gaming computers are kind of orchestrated into like the Alienware, but they also have machines. So I think Alienware is basically Dell, but it's on the gamer side of things, and that's split up from those who use it for other purposes. But technically, a gaming machine would be able to run a lot of your program-based, skill-based, tool-based, digital art tools and whatnot. those spikes are up, when the bomb goes off, it'll protect you so you won't die. Whoops, I missed that. Whoopsie. Okay. Ah, I gotta get those long jumps. Still grabbing with your toes. Technically, you're supposed to do one of those crazy roll jumps there, which is more effective. Woo! There's spikes right there, so that's where it gets shady. Am I supposed to have... Hopefully I'm not supposed to have a balloon. This might be the last part. I don't think I need a balloon here. This is like the last section. Something I've noticed is like if you can put your mouse right underneath the left heel, I get a little bit better of a boost with it. Jump wise, it just makes it seems like I get a little bit of more control and jump. And that does matter in many ways. I always wondered if it did, and since doing Tribulation mode, that's kind of how I've been experiencing it as being easier to position my mouse there. And so that's kind of one of those Guild Wars 2 dynamics of just getting used to the game by practicing. I mean, there's a level of comprehension involved in just doing certain things over and over, and you just get better at it, and then when you get better at it, you're able to do more things with friends because you're all on the same capable wavelength to do party missions and different things. Okay, so I want to see if I get anything for doing one, or do I have to do all three? So I would think that, yeah, there we go, weekly achievement, and then it said something else. It jumped so fast I didn't get to read it. Hopefully it still pops up here. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh, here it is. Extracurricular adventures, and then event awards. So it was under dailies though. So let's see, daily, super adventure festival, extracurricular. No, that's not it. Coursework? See, and then there's achievement hunters, and you can get a lot of different stuff out of achievement hunting. Here we go. So I don't know where, it doesn't say. Oh, maybe there's a weekly raise collections, festival collections, Crimson Assassin. So there's that super assassin backpack I was talking about. You can either purchase for 128, and that comes with the Moto's Bauble Infusion Red. The Kaiser backpack cover Um, but that doesn't come with, yeah, the King Toad. So let me see. 50 baubles. That's one way to go about it. Just collect all those. Those are 25 each. Those can be expensive. So I don't know. I couldn't see it. I didn't see where it was. Here we go. Weekly World 1 replay. A continue coin, 2 fancy furniture coins, Crimson Assassin tokens, and 8 baubles, and the personal thanks emote. So yeah, you have to do all 3. So you can do the World 1 replay, and then you could also do World 2 replay, warm up, and so maybe I should do it at least once, and then just do this multiple times, just to get those coins. That's one way to speed up, I guess, getting the Crimson coins, is doing World 1 and doing World 2 for Tribulation mode. So I just learned something there. So I'll make my way to the left here. I've spent plenty of time on plenty of wasting some time. Not that it's really ever being wasted. Not that it really even ever exists, but that's a whole nother philosophical communication. But no, like, you know, just getting stuck there. Pretty funny. So if I fall, I'll get this bauble. Why not? I'm not going inside there for a bauble. There's 5 baubles down there, but then I died trying to come back up, and it's just more of a headache than I want to deal with. This is a little bit of a weird spot. You kind of have to step out a bit. And whoop, there we go, to the cloud. Checkpoint. Moving on. There is a way to go around by just jumping on the pillars. That guy is a pain. You have to really kind of jump far. Same with this guy. You kind of have to really extend your jump. It's not really difficult, but those 2 clouds, you really have to jump far. It's kind of like that dodge jump almost feel. But if you do that, you'll get past it pretty easy. But if you don't, it's just like you'll miss it a lot. And I did that a lot once, you know, when I first got in. And when I first started doing this, I did that a lot. It was embarrassing. Almost had it. Not that you should be embarrassed or superstitious, but hey, whatever you want to do is on you. You know? I'm more in being as real as possible with the moments as we have them, and to cherish, you know, cherish those moments, but also to, you know, be keen on being present and modern with our viewpoints and tools within those viewpoints. Oh man, oh man. Now I gotta go back and get this done again. Sometimes it's easy like that, but then you have to get, you know, you got multiple different stages to get through. It's not just the one hard part. I almost had it there. I almost, I say juking it. I almost juked it by tripping up onto the leaf. That's one way to get by it, if you can just, when he slams down, you get close enough to the leaf where you fall instead of into the lava but onto the leaf. You kind of have to really be going fast and jump far, and it's better just to make it. Yeah, I kind of ate it that time. I did that to myself. I didn't even jump. I pushed the button though, you know. I could just imagine having to do this back in the 90s on a walkthrough, just looking at a walkthrough, and back then it was just pictures, you know, and then it would be pictures printed into a magazine, and then you had to like look at the magazine, and they had like whole journals for it, like you'd buy the whole walkthrough. I did that with EverQuest. I had the walkthrough for EverQuest, and it had maps on there. That was the only way to get maps back then. There was no real maps that you can open up in the game. Like this game at least has maps, but not for Super Adventure Box. That's really not really existent. You just see it kind of has like almost like a Sonic look to it, with the different worlds tiered. Mix between Sonic and Lemmings layout there. I used to, I think that was one of the first few games that I played was Lemmings. That I can remember, like Frogger, Lemmings, and oh, see, I almost had it that time. Frogger, Lemmings, a Super Metroid kind of game, but really the first game that I really remember playing was I would turn on, it was like one of those red flip switches on a old 286 processor, and it had like a red flip switch in the back to turn it on, and it'd load up into DOS because Windows didn't even exist yet, and there was this like drawing program, like a drawing game where you could like draw with the square pointer, and it would kind of like almost like Snake, but you I couldn't remember if you couldn't overlap on yourself. You weren't allowed to overlap on yourself, but it didn't really have point systems or like a reason to like complete the stage. It's just kind of like you had different colors and you weren't really able to overlap on yourself, but it was a square I don't know, it was an old school game. That was like one of the first games I played. And then there was some educational games, like a math game that had like cupcakes and like this bear on a conveyor belt. And these are way before any of the cooking app games. I mean, cell phones didn't even exist really. Even though there was, I think I remember during that time, like my uncle had one of those phones in his vehicle. That like had a cord, but it was like connected to the radio, and so it would be able to call out just like a phone, and it had like its own, you know, no different than you pay for Verizon now. It had like a service that you can that they used back then for this wireless calls and whatnot. So that was like the real cool in thing back then, was like the whole cellular capabilities, and things have just advanced. I mean, you know, this is maybe 87, 88, you know, and just things have advanced like crazy since then. Really since the 60s, things have been kind of going haywire. It's kind of funny though, because I was like, you know, I have communications with my own pops, and he's just like, you know, I talk about it sometimes. I'll bring up like Captain Kirk and Spock, you know, and their relationship, and he'll, you know, he's kind of brought up in his own way about how, you know, Spock was sent off in a casket in the 60s, so it's kind of like all the older generations don't really it's not gonna always be the most reasonable reasonings, but they've done their best to get us here based on what they've been given as tools prior to what we're dealing with as in front of us, you know. I got an angry rock in front of me. I'm gonna get past this.